Come on, Rangers! Come on!
Hello, I'm Rich Phippen and I am the director of Bunch of Amateurs.
I'm Marc White. I'm Dorking Wanderers chairman and manager.
So here we are in Dorking. This is the Havant and Waterlooville Boxing Day game. I love Boxing Day football, Mark. Fucking love Boxing Day football.
Fucking love this one even more. This would be. I don't know how I can replace this as a memory.
Is this a career highlight? This game?
Yeah. Real shit day, misty. Could barely fucking breathe. I'd eaten so much the day before. You know, and mixed form essentially. A tough team coming to us. Big crowd expected, all the pressure of that.
There you are in 8th.
Yeah. 4 points off the top though. Tight league.
Yeah, really tight. So this is flashing back to, I think like the 3rd or 4th game of yours I ever filmed, back before we had a channel and we didn't really know what I was going to do with the footage.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't let me film the game itself back then. I could only film you. So that's what I did. I walked around with a camera filming some of the fans, but mostly just filmed you. And that's one of the worst dressing rooms I've been in. That was horrific. Yeah,
it's a fucking war zone, wasn't it? I mean, 6-0 defeat, arses on a plate. We had a McDonald's, the management team, on the way to that game, 2 miles from the ground, and we stumped the coach out of McDonald's, and we couldn't fucking barely breathe. So we blamed ourselves for the negative influence of having that McDonald's
that for years afterwards.
Yeah. But everything's for a reason. Look at all the boys there that day. All the boys there that day, they're still there now. So many of them. Moro, Niall, JP, Briggsy. The list goes on.
Yeah, whatever doesn't kill you, right?
Yeah, exactly that, mate. That's how it works. Samuel Ab, Isaac, Ed Harris, they're all there. We were 3 wins for 3 going into that game, and we thought, it's our first season in the league, we thought, right, we're going to fucking win this one then, and we just got complacent.
What's interesting to me, Mark, and if you don't mind me saying this, we get the same comment a lot that, oh, this guy doesn't know anything, who does he think he is? And then slowly people warm to you and realise, you know what, you do know what you're talking about here. I certainly experienced that here. I wondered, because all I knew about you is where you'd taken the club from, and you'd reached this level which was fucking high.
Yeah.
And after this game, I was like, oh Christ, maybe this guy has reached his peak.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really a question, it's just an observation. And it's like, oh shit, over the next year, you adapt, you adjust, and you go again, and you deal with it.
I just spend my time putting in place the things that need to be in place in order to win. And if people pick up on, you know, what they see and they acknowledge that, great. If they don't, they don't. A lot of managers spend the whole time trying to PR themselves and sounding like fucking Guardiola.
Right.
Or trying to talk to the fans. Or with me, it is what it is. You see what you get what you see. There's a lot of method behind it all, a lot of madness. But obviously, you know, we are good at what we do as a team, you know, management team. I was stressed here because I'd fucking forgotten to write the labels for the champagne in my boot. And I wanted to write them personally because I just think, no, I'm not obviously soft. But I wanted to write them personally because the amount of people that help us out and that's why I wrote about you being a sad, miserable bastard.
I got a personal one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Led's had COVID, so my main concern was would he finish the game?
I like picking up this stuff too. Don't often get to do it. If I get you as soon as you arrive, get the mic on you, and then, you know, once we've got a mic on you, we can pick you out anywhere, and we can pick up some not necessarily interesting stuff. I guess it's just interesting to get a flavour of what goes on around the club. I don't just want to show a guy managing a team. I want to show a guy running a club, and that you've got that on your mind as well. You've got other shit to worry about rather than just the team, right?
Yeah, especially as we're in, you know, transition to bigger crowds. So it's not as if we've been doing it years. Look, there's all the champagne. Look, fucking $2,000 worth that was. $2,000 worth of champagne. Yeah, we're only like, do you know what I mean? We're a new club, so all of these bigger attendances and that, Boxing Day games with 2,000, whatever, that's a first.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think? That's a crazy question, but you were so convinced it was going to be tight. I mean, you're next to each other in the league. Was it always going to be that one-sided? Do you think the red card?
Yeah, the red card killed it. Yeah, completely. You know, they were a good outfit, but they was having a bad time. It kind of generally, they might have been in the playoffs, but by their standards, that was underachieving because they're a team that everybody expected to be top 3. So with such a tight and congested league, they weren't having a great time.
Finally got John on. I've been promising him aid for ages that I'd get him
Strength and
on.
conditioning coach.
I didn't know he told me he's an ex-publican.
Ex-publican.
So his organisational skills must be pretty decent.
Oblique strength and conditioning coach. No, John, top guy. Operationally behind the scenes, he's full time. Done great stuff for the club.
How many people have you got full time?
Maybe 12.
What's that like compared to other clubs at your level?
More. But you know, some of them are in monetised roles like commercial people and you know, people running the bar and events, and so we just, you know, we staff it. You know, some clubs don't bother, and then sit there wondering why they can't hire their bar out. You're like, well, you do realise for 20 grand salary a year, you probably turn over 250 grand.
Right.
You know, so we just try to do things properly.
Right.
Jukey, normally unhappy. Very rare to see Jukey smile.
No, and I'm trying to get him on mic, and I eventually got him to put one on, and 20 minutes later he'd put it on Beardy. which was useless because Beardy, I have to change the settings, and Beardy shouts so much that it doesn't work.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly, yeah.
But no, like, he's tactically, I mean, they're all good guys and they're all tactically capable, but I assume, from what I can tell, that Jukey's probably the one who's probably the most astute.
Jukey's the one that bought the 3-5-2 to the Wanderers. That's his.
Is he really?
Yeah, that's the fame to claim. He bought it in, and we've had more promotions with Jukey here proportionately than any other coach. He's a massive part of our success. He wants no credit for it, and I take it all, and I'm fucking happy about that.
And there's your mate. I like getting these, because I said to him, I texted him saying, Callum, I want you to come down more, because I get these little conversations that you two have that are not like anyone else you talk to when I'm filming. Like, it's more personal, which I enjoy.
I've got a fucking fat head in this. Like, you can tell I've eaten like a lot of roast potatoes on Christmas Day. Yeah, it's great when Callum comes down. I really enjoy that. It's great. And there's Doz. Do you know what's really annoying about football? Is when you've got managers that you get on with and you've known for years, it's fucking hard to retain any level of, you know, it's really hard when you're playing each other. You know, you find like for 2-3 months afterwards, like when close season comes, you'll have a chat with someone like they're your best mate. Right. But during the season, you find it really difficult. It's horrible. It's the worst bit of it for me with managers. Oh, wow. I much prefer to fucking hate them. There's Nicky Wheeler. You get the cheapest fucking haircuts in Brighton off Nicky. £4 it is, all in. Yeah.
That's like the old Supercuts in Redhill days. I'll
take
take
that's
that.
What I think it's called Classy Cuts. £4 wet wash. He cut young Mitch's hair, the kit man. He got one of the worst haircuts. He actually done it himself. As opposed to getting Nick do it.
Yeah, that was ludicrous. When I saw his head, I was like, what have you done?
Well, he done that. He avoided Nick doing it. It's DJ Oldacre. What a breath of fresh air with the hat on. Because our club was brought up on characters like him.
Right.
And the more pro you go, the more you don't get the characters. This guy reminds me of everything about the Wanderers we've ever had. If you had a night out, he'd be the first one on it. He'd be the first one there. You know, he's a good lad. Jason Pryor, the Wanderers Messiah.
I love the way that Luke Moore looks during team talks. Nobody looks like they're listening more. I've never seen anyone anywhere ever look more intense at listening than Luke Moore. I don't know if he is listening, but the look he does, that stare.
Yeah, he is. You can't beat experience. You need it, and players like that, you're more. As we went through the leagues, I realised, and I didn't predict it, that the higher they played, the more they engage with you, because that's just what they're used to. Luke Moore's, you know, he scored He's scored at Wembley. He's scored in the League Two player final.
Right.
Been there, done it. Now he's listening to me chat shit.
Jimmy Mewett is always biting his nails. Always.
Nervous guy.
Well, I don't like putting shots in if anyone's picking their nose or biting their nails. I try and cut around that stuff. I'm really, really careful. I don't want anyone to think, oh, I wish he didn't put that in. But Jimmy is always got his fingers in his mouth.
His nickname's the Flying Quaver, right? Because he's about 4 stone and all he does is eat.
He's so thin.
Yeah.
He's so thin.
He's like aerodynamic.
I hate being in that dressing room when they're all like looking so trim. I'm like, fuck me.
I know, it's annoying, especially, it really is.
And I don't like doing these close-ups because they all know I'm pointing the camera at them. If you say something to them and you're busting their balls or whatever, I will point the camera at them later on and get the reaction shot later. I won't do it when you're shouting at them because I don't want them to feel awkward.
And that's nice, actually. Really strange old day, wasn't it? Not overcast, whatever. Undercast. I don't know what the word would be in the winter, but
I'm sure. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Actually. I mean, strange.
It was just really fucking great. It was just a boxing day weather, wasn't it? It was like no one really wants to go outside, so we're not even going to bother making it bright out there.
Yeah.
I like getting these shots now. I get some really nice stuff. What defines a day at the football? And it is milling around, finding a burger, finding a program, going to the club shop. And I challenge Greg to go off and find those little shots now and try and find stuff we haven't done. These chats, we started them off with Barks when we realised the mic was on him. So Greg, follow Barks. And it's like, why don't we do this at Dorking as well? So we follow you. As soon as we know you're outside, Greg will just follow you around.
Right.
Because those little chats.
I mean, I can't even look at me. I look fucking. I can't even breathe in them trousers. I used to look really good in them about a year ago, but since COVID, I've literally fucking piled on the pounds, and I'm trying to get in the same clothes. It's like some, like maybe it's a midlife crisis. No, it's not. I put on fucking cargo. Management team are a really big deal, Rich, on a match day, because if they set the flavour, they set the behaviour. If they're out there fucking about playing 2-touch and all that bollocks, the players come out, you just had a big team talk, and then you send them in there and one of them ain't switched on, that they can fuck it all.
Right, I see. You always tell me that you're emotionless at this point. But there must be, and I keep asking, there must be a part of you that is getting some level of emotional response from 10 minutes before kick-off. No. I am. Do you know what? I'm so driven that I don't even notice another person at that match, apart from people I directly communicate with. Like when I watch back a bunch of amateurs, I see people in the crowd or even on the pitch and think, oh, he was there. Right.
I am like
locked
fucking
in.
tunnel vision on what's going on. I'm thinking about everything, meta thoughts galore. Jordan Cheadle, new acquisition.
Yeah, former Peter Barclay teammate.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, he told me, Jordan Cheadle told me he's 23 years old. Got all the masters still out. Oh, right, so this is the Snakes, isn't it?
Yeah, so they were vociferous.
It makes you laugh, this one. I remember reading somewhere, it might have been Doz, I don't know, it might not have been Doz, I love Doz, but someone was like, I think Alfie, maybe he should have, toned it down or whatever. They were singing, Alfie, you're a cunt, and his dad and his sister there. Fuck it, I'd have jumped in the crowd when I scored.
Yeah.
That's what football's all about, giving it back.
Well, it's his wife or sister, I'm not sure which, was in the Havant section, I think, or was near them, because I was told she was getting quite a lot of shit from them.
It wouldn't imagine his wife. I mean, it might be his sister Lita.
Right.
Jason Primate, fucking hell, he's injured at the moment. Do we miss him? That's like dating Miss World and she's gone away for a month.
Well, I said to you straight after his injury that I don't think you're going to miss him that much, and then someone said to me, and the last game with the 30 balls that went into your box, he won 23 of them.
He's a fucking,
and I was like, oh shit, I didn't really think of that.
He's a both boxes player.
Yeah.
And he's a leader.
Yeah.
And it's the things you don't see.
Yeah, and it's dealing with the referee and stuff like that as well, isn't it?
Dealing with the referee, teammates when it goes right or wrong. He's got a great balance to him. So he's not a prick. Some players are just pricks and they have a go at everyone about everything. Yeah. He's clever. He knows when to praise, he knows when to reprimand, he knows to get the best out. He is honestly irreplaceable. Right. In this level of football, you try finding a fucking Jason. It's hard enough to find the player version, because not many people know the other version, but to find the character traits as well, it won't fucking happen. It won't happen. Goal, bosh.
I was still doing the GoPros at this point. Like my first 5 minutes of every game, I'm nowhere near the bench. So that's why we have the lock off up there, just in case something happens. This camera's saved my life loads of times.
I love seeing all the subs celebrating. They love it.
It's a nice explosion.
Everyone's in there the same. Everyone feels the same about the Wanderers.
I'm editing the Chelmsford game right now, and Simo points out to his assistant manager, look, none of those fuckers are sitting down and your entire bench is standing up. There's like 20 people there. The linesman's not saying anything. So I'm in the Havant crowd right now doing the GoPros and that, and they are furious.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, didn't need to do it, did he?
No. There's nothing more exciting in football than a red card penalty challenge, particularly early on when you know that it's going to be a huge deal if the red card comes out.
Because the ref's got that spot on, and he could have gone down that negligible route of a yellow and justified it. But you know what? He got it spot on. He tells Barry to fuck off. He knows what he's doing.
Yes.
And he sends him off. He got it spot on.
Yeah, he did.
And we've had this ref a few times, and he's good. And as you can see, he don't mind talking to you. He explains it.
He's a friend of mine worked with him and told me he is like a black belt martial artist. And I thought that makes a lot of sense, because the way he carries himself reminds me of another mate of mine who's a martial artist, and it's that confidence.
Yeah, that sort of passive confidence sort of thing, There's Mitchell, first on the pitch celebrating.
He always is, isn't he?
Yeah,
he flies out of the dugout.
Flies out of the dugout of his Barnet.
Confident penalty.
Well, he's missed a few before that.
Right.
So he'd obviously thought on going down the middle.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I'm not often confident, but 2-0, 10 men is, definitely...
Can you start to enjoy yourself
now? Yeah, because if you don't win them games, you ain't ever going to win a game.
As Mark has said before, playing with 10 men against Dorking when they're doing their side-to-side thing is soul-destroying, and Havants have 86 minutes of that in front of them.
Relax!
Yeah, what must they be feeling right now, those players, knowing what they're up against?
I look at the players we've got out there, look, I mean, so many what I'd call big-ticket players, McManus, Briggs.
It's pretty much 100% strength. I guess Foggy's not back yet, is he? But even still.
Listen, I mean, it is pretty much 100% this team. That's exactly what it is.
And just to point out, that's why the Havant fans were so furious, is because so many of your players are ex-Havant players, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How's that happened? Did you ever look at the Havant team and go, I want them, or did it just...
Yeah, I mean, we've always recruited down that way, but obviously, they've turned over more players than they'd like in the last few years. It just became sort of, a little bit of a pocket to get people from.
Right.
Obviously, once you take one as well, they know people and...
Yeah, right. And Dan Lincoln, I realised the other day when you were talking to him, as sad as I was that Slav didn't get that run that he looked like he was going to have because of his injury, but Dan Lincoln is the goalkeeper you've been looking for.
I think in terms of the way he plays, he's got an all-round game, but he's particularly quick.
That's an astonishing amount of space that they're finding.
Yeah.
There was a team, I can't remember who it was. They knew what to do when they went to 10. I think it was a few games before this.
Ebbsfleet. It was Ebbsfleet.
And they switched a formation that you thought, actually, they're still pretty hard to beat.
It was fucking excellent. Yeah, really good. Really good. McManus had a great spell centre mid. Him and Josh Taylor, when we had our best spell this season, him and Josh Taylor were a two. And they were fucking excellent.
Yeah, Dulwich as well, right? Was it Dulwich? I think he had a hell of a game.
No Macca, no Moro in this team. Not often you see a Wanderers team without one of those two. Baz are talking to me into going long because he sees that they've got a centre half that's slow.
Right.
Which I didn't mind.
Yeah, it's really hard in the edit to pick up on what's going on and like to figure out what he's talking about there. I'm like, oh man, I've got to try and explain this.
Yeah.
There he goes.
I think this has helped me pick the team for Saturday. Genuinely. It's a funny old game, football. You think you're picking a similar team each week, but it's a bit like Chinese whispers.
Right,
like,
it just evolves.
After 8 games, it evolves, and you end up thinking, fuck me, they had a great spell, them two.
Yeah, right. But that Barks used to say this, that being filmed gave him an opportunity to reflect that he'd never had before.
Yeah.
And it would affect... There's a thing about documentary filmmaking. This guy's...
Brilliant, isn't it?
There's a thing about you can't... By your very presence, you are affecting what's going on.
Yeah.
But in Barks' case was absolutely true because he was looking at what was going on and going, right, I should stop doing that or I should stop saying that.
Yeah, 100%.
Particularly if you've never before seen a man have his face caved in by a ponytail.
Disappointing the ref on this one though, because like literally nothing happened to Rendell.
You know what? Experienced player trying to level it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't like to see it's not the dumb thing between sort of professionals, if you like.
No, and your guys don't do much of that at all.
Nah, we're soft.
I mean, you kind of are. I mean, there's a couple of times you've said to the players, why aren't you around the ref there, or why aren't you talking to the linesman there?
It's our biggest weakness. And the reason we don't do it is because we don't rely upon the dark arts at all. At all. It's our biggest weakness because when we need to be good at them dark arts, so we could be 1-0 up, 20 minutes to go, and we're bloody terrible at running the clock down.
Yeah.
Like it's you know, I do look at other teams and envy how good the managers are at getting their players better at it.
Yeah.
Good goal, this. That's a skip. That's a hop skip. That's a sort of like, I'm so happy I don't know what to do.
I mean, he's just all confidence there, isn't he? Shoving the defender out the way.
Yeah.
Double nutmeg. Funny thing about football fans, they're never smart enough to realise that abusing players doesn't really work. Charlton have done it for years, and I've never seen a club concede more goals against former players. Jermaine Defoe's got like 30 goals against Charlton.
Yeah. Yeah, he got booked, but we're all hugging him. We've had to take him off first half. Can't risk that being levelled up.
Yeah. You've always done that. You've always been that aware of, because I've seen you sub a few players on yellow cards.
Well, when you've got a great squad, why would you piss about? Why would you risk the game?
Another thing, like when you look back at this, and it's only a couple of months ago, when you look back on this and see everyone in such fine form and playing so well, like I think the players one day are going to realise, because they're young, and you don't realise when you're young that you're in a period of time, you think this is how life's going to be forever. They're going to look back on this and go, oh shit, we had a good time back then.
I watched this here, and I think what you hear in changing rooms a lot is managers saying, you'll remember, in football, it gives you days to remember. No one forgets the 8-0 Havant Boxing Day win.
One, right?
Yeah, this is one of those.
Skip half time. But interesting that in half time you were still talking tactics. I mean, the game was out of sight, but you weren't going to let them rest. And you say that thing about the scalpel, you want them to keep going.
I was aware at the time that, in my head, I was thinking statement. I was thinking...
Callum best clap.
In my head, I was thinking statement. So I was thinking, we're 8th in the table, there's nothing between the teams. I want the next opponent we play to think, fuck, Dorking are flying. I remember vividly thinking, must now use this as an opportunity to win our next 3 games. Because when you go and bang in that many goals, the opposition start worrying more about you than themselves, you know. So that was in my head. I wouldn't even know who's behind me here. These people, I wouldn't even see any of that. Nah.
There's a guy that sits, his name's Steve, he's got his name on the seat up there.
Right.
I don't know his surname. I've trained him to control my camera a little bit so that I don't have to run up there, because they turn off after 30 minutes, these cameras.
Right.
So every 30 minutes he has a little alarm and he turns around and presses record again. I've got to buy him a bottle of wine or something.
100%. And put some comments in it. Is he miserable?
No, he's like a nice chap.
You're putting that, you're a fucking nice chap. This is for you.
He did forget one game, and I got no footage, and I was like, I can't really give him any shit.
No,
like,
exactly.
Actually, no, I gave that job to Ollie, who works for you, and Ollie said, "Oh, the old boy up there knows what he's doing. He's told me he's got it under control." I'm like, "Ollie, no, he's never turned the camera on before, mate." And then a while later, I get a text from Ollie going, "Yeah, you were right. He didn't know what to do." Oh, fucking hell.
That is funny.
Yeah, he kind of got away with one there, that guy.
Yeah, it's a red card. Briggsy don't out by putting his hand on him. Niall's always good with the rest. Niall's always in there.
Niall gets in there, doesn't
He's
he?
very, it's a red card, isn't it? He's got away with one there, Jake, but did the old standard head hold.
Yeah. Might just get
Barry Fuller, the oldest overlapping full-back in the land.
Overlapping.
70s prog rock band Taylor Briggs and Fuller carve the defence wide open, but Mannion somehow manages to defy Pryor.
Funny, that keeper didn't have a particularly bad game, you know, conceding 8 goals and actually, you know...
He was on loan. That's the game he'll remember.
Wants to leave the field, at least until he gets a second goal.
What a ball.
Yeah.
There's some Pep Guardiola stuff going on there, because when they can square it, do you tell them that, or is that instinctive with them? When they can square it, they do. They do it a couple of times in this game.
I don't. I just think that's Jason. Jason Pryor said, Alfie, square it. He's squaring it. If that's someone that's a bit quieter, if Alfie probably shoots or something.
Okay.
You know, yeah. Look, the team that day, they were fucking brilliant. And Jimmy plays the understudy. He's a fantastic player, Hewitt. He's getting a run right now, so he's a fantastic player. All the ex-Havant boys want blood.
Yeah.
You can see it in them.
Yeah.
We took Alfie off. Forgot that.
But you might as well protect him when you can, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. I don't know what the score is right now, 6, whatever it is. You're still not letting them get away with it.
Yeah, in the zone this day. I think a lot of it is like the fact that we weren't doing great in the league and it was an opportunity, and it just felt like our season was beginning. As the game was unfolding, it just felt like, here we go, this is us.
Yeah.
You know, big crowd in there, scoring goals.
Yeah, this reminded me of what it was like when the season was cancelled a year earlier, right?
Yeah.
This is what it felt like when everything was going your way, everything was working.
And it's no coincidence. Do you know what I mean?
The manager demanded at least 2 more goals, and an astonishing throw from Dan Lincoln sets up a counter-attack to get the crucial 7.
Great little one, yeah. 2 dummies, Bosch. 7. When will we ever beat that again? It's not easy to beat a scoreline like that. We've had an 8-0 in the league before this, the Boston Prem.
Right.
Last game ever at our previous ground was 8-0.
Oh,
and,
beautiful.
And this one. We should have scored more than 10.
What, in this one?
Yeah, we should have done, yeah.
Yeah, then the mist started rolling in. It's like, are we going to get to the end of
this could be any fucking, it looks like an evening game, doesn't it? The Quaver scores a header, there you go. That's what he's saying.
I think
the Quaver scores a header.
Everyone's so happy for him there as well, aren't they? Which is really
Yeah,
nice.
he's a really popular member of the squad.
It's a goal.
I mean, I was just running out of things to say at this point.
Might go down the Brazilian route. Goal!
Like, do you know, it's really hard to not go down the Alan Partridge route, because when I'm doing some comedy stuff, like the gold standard for comedy football commentary is Alan Partridge. And I think some of the things that I say on this are definitely like the day-to-day Chris Morris influenced.
Yeah.
And every now and then I'll write something and it's like, no, I've just ripped that from Alan Partridge, I can't use that. Yeah, a little bit worried that it was going to get too misty to finish, but yeah, what a great day. I love that shot of you in the mist, the black contrasting.
It was a day when a combination of where we had been in the league up to now, with all the bad luck we'd had with injuries, so many of those boys being back, you know, combination of so many ex-Havant players, and everybody on the day, a combination of the big crowd. Everybody was so focused on winning that game. Everybody was on the same page.
Yeah.
That's why the scoreline was so big.
And for me, the 6-0, like, I included that bit of Nick just then because I love having a story beat where, you know, you set something up and you pay it off. And I needed someone to talk about the 6-0 other than me on the narration. And the fact that Nick mentioned something, I was like, that's fucking gold. Even though you can't hear it, I'm going to subtitle it because I've got to get it in there. It's funny because even when you win comfortably, say the Ebbsfleet game, there are times when you're like, no, you got this wrong, you got to change this. This was one where you're just like, what can I say? that was good. It's madness, you know. We had a tough season to this point. Tough season. Has he got a bottle of beer there, Josh Taylor? Nah, it's got to be a sugary fitness drink. Charwood, however, yeah, I'd expect that.
When I think celebrations in our changing room, I think about Gareth, one of our super fans who, when we won the league, came back in with us and got a coat hanger stuck in his ear. What? Yeah, it don't get better than that. Me and Dina, when we think of celebration, winning the Boston League, all we remember is Gareth sat there listening intently to my debrief with the players with a coat hanger stuck in his ear. What a guy. See what you're doing there? You're seizing the moment to make them feel the epitome of fucking unbelievable because they've just been through a tough time. And what obviously you're going to get off the back of that is a massive kick. And we kicked on. And then the next dynamic is win, 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 win. Do you run out of fucking things to say? Do you make them worry they're going to lose? Do you make them feel like they're going to win? You know, this is an easy dynamic. Fucking I knew we'd win, boys, because we're brilliant.
Right.
We've always been brilliant. We've had a bad time, but now we're fucking back. And then, bosh, you go and win 4 games. Football's full of dynamics. Always debrief with the managers. We do things jointly. We do genuinely do things jointly.
Yeah, this is the bit where I get to include probably the smallest percentage of content because, you know, this is really private, this bit.
Yeah.
You know, not even the players get to hear what's going on in
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
So
yeah.
all I do is just grab those top line bits.
Yeah.
And ideally, I need another camera in there to get the other guys, but there's never enough time for that. But I like this kind of shot. It's peering through shoulders. It's got that voyeuristic kind of,
Yeah.
you know, I'm peering through, like proper literal fly on the wall kind of shot.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
McDonald's, mate, yeah.
Won't be getting them as a sponsor anytime soon.
No, we've never had it. Every time we ever think about getting food on the way to the game, we don't bother. Scorned.
On to the next week.
Yeah. It's all part of a jigsaw for the whole season. You know, different dynamics. This was a great dynamic. We're going home on Boxing Night. We just won 8-0. We're never going to repeat that in our club history. That's $1 million to 1 job. We're now just going to kick on for the week. We were supposed to be playing Dulwich on the Tuesday. They were called off for COVID. So we had a week off before playing Havant again. Alfie was too happy after this. He didn't play well in the return fixture. He had a poor game.
No, he didn't, did he?
He had a poor game. He's young.
Yes, and I'd also say you always just feel that know where the ball's going to be.
See, Pryor, if he scores hat-trick in that first game, he'll score 5 in the next one. His mentality, Pryor, is fucking ruthless. Alfie's an unbelievable player. We love him, and I love his family and everything about him. I think he could be a bit more ruthless. Ruthless. He's got it in him, but he's a typical youngster where it's a bit wavy. It's a peak and trough. He'll be brilliant and ruthless one game. The next game he'll be like, oh, you know, Alfie, you know, was he where he normally is? You know what I mean? So that's a fucking youngster trait with respect to youngsters.
I guess you've got to try and accelerate that learning as quickly as possible,
Yeah,
right?
it helps when you're playing with people like Pryor and that because they don't let them off the hook. But what I keep saying to Alfie is that one day you are Pryor. So you'll be playing next to someone at 21. See, that has to be a point where you develop your mentality to be elite and have huge standards and know what you're doing when you're doing it.
All right.
Otherwise,
Thanks for listening, everybody. This is the end of our director's commentary.
Loved it.
Thanks for watching Bunch of Amateurs Director's Commentary with myself and Mark. We've got a couple more of these coming up, so look out for them on the channel, and you'll find even more of them on our Patreon page. Hit like and subscribe and all of that stuff because that helps us keep on growing.